in June 2013, 11 human rights practitioners from Asia and Africa came to a study tour in Mexico to learn about different human rights experiences. This tour was part of the Evidence and Lessons from Latin America's project, ELA, a UK aid-funded initiative aiming to promote learning and exchange among practitioners from Latin America, Asia, and Africa. This tour was organized by Fundar, a Mexican civil society organization working on human rights and the advancement of substantive democracy.
En mayo de 2013 se organizó un estudio tour con distintos participantes de África y de Asia, principalmente con la finalidad de dar a conocer las experiencias que de alguna manera han sido positivas o exitosas para la sociedad civil, pero también para la defensa, promoción, protección y garantía de los derechos humanos en México.
Participants are coming from Nigeria, Togo, Uganda, South Africa, and also from Nepal and Pakistan. We have visited different kind of organizations, and we've had different kinds of activities.
The departing point of the ELA study tour was a discussion of the common challenges that Latin American, African, and Asian participants share in ensuring the effective realization of human rights in their contexts.
We are already in a transitional phase and there are some ongoing, there are lots of human rights violations, because of improper laws. If there is law, they are not been implemented, and we don't have a constitution by this time, because our Constitutional Assembly has already failed to draft a constitution by time, and due to all this, there is no rule of law.
Policies on almost every human rights issue. But the situation currently is that most of those policies are not fully implemented. I would say that in terms of human rights violation, there's a lot of too much gender-based violence in Uganda. And basically we have policies, for example, like a gender policy, but the problem is these policies are not fully implemented to make sure that these issues are fully addressed.
So in developing regions, we face a very challenging situation of human rights. There are 4 disappearances, killings, and also we have a serious problem of access to justice from the judiciary, but also in all levels of government, corruption and impunity.
Given these common challenges, in the tour, participants got the opportunity to know 4 different mechanisms to protect, defend, and guarantee human rights. The first mechanism participants learned about was a gender unit established within Mexico's justice system, which has played a fundamental role in protecting and defending women's rights. Participants met Mónica Maxise and Adriana Ortega from this unit.
Bueno, el programa de igualdad de género en la Suprema Corte surgió en 2008 y surgió gracias a un presupuesto etiquetado que dio la Cámara de Diputados.
Lo que hace la unidad de igualdad de género en el interior de la Corte, pues es esta como doble mandato que reconoce para sí la unidad de igualdad de género. La necesidad de mejorar los procesos de impartición de justicia y entonces entrenar y capacitar y profesionalizar a jueces, magistrados, secretarios de estudio y cuenta, oficiales judiciales, para que introduzca la perspectiva de género en las resoluciones, y el otro mandato que reconoce que hay que hacer política interna para que las mujeres y para que haya una perspectiva de género en las políticas laborales de la Suprema Corte.
I can say that here in Supreme Court I'm very amazed, surprised for not only for the building and the history who they are showing us, but for the meeting and how the women the gender problem is solved and in the justice. And I mean, in our country we don't have it. We don't have it. That in the justice we are trying to put a gender unit.
And they very successfully created awareness around gender equality, using the principle of equality and the right to non-discrimination. They basically ran a whole project where they created awareness amongst the judiciary on gender equality. So it was really amazing how they sought to set out to change mindsets around the issue of equality equality when it comes to the issue of gender equality.
A second mechanism participants got to know was the Mexico City Human Rights Commission and its role in promoting and guaranteeing human rights in the city. They met Mario Patron, first inspector of the commission, who explained their work in advancing human rights.
La Comisión de Derechos Humanos del Distrito Federal forma parte del sistema no jurisdiccional de protección de los derechos humanos. Básicamente su función tiene que ver con recibir quejas sobre actos u omisiones de autoridades que constituyan la posible comisión de violaciones a los derechos humanos, y finalmente uno de los principales recursos con los que cuentan estas instituciones son las recomendaciones. Sí tiene una suerte de fuerza moral en tanto que hacen un señalamiento directo sobre la posible comisión de violaciones a derechos humanos.
We went to the National Commission, and there also I found that we have some of the problems the commissioners said are shared by our countries, and the way they are trying to achieve their goals are giving me ideas, so that when I go back home I will try, because we are in a good mood with our National Commission. We will try to see how to talk with them and to see how they can manage some things the way it's done here in Mexico.
A third experience participants got to know is the Mexican Victims' Law, a legal framework aiming to protect and defend victims' rights to redress. They met members from Peace, Justice and Dignity Movement and Fundar's researchers to learn about the process for drafting and enacting this law.
Bueno, la ley de víctimas surge en el sexenio, a finales del sexenio de Felipe Calderón. Felipe Calderón llegó al poder en el 2006 y a partir de eso se dispara la violencia en el contexto de lo que Felipe Calderón impulsó como la estrategia de guerra contra la delincuencia organizada. La ley de víctimas, así de manera general, reconoce los derechos de las víctimas y establece los mecanismos para que se garanticen esos derechos de parte del Estado. Entonces, la ley reconoce el derecho de las víctimas a la ayuda inmediata, a la asistencia, a la atención y a la reparación integral del daño, entre otros, ¿no?
We don't have law and victimology law, but we are trying to advocacy and lobby for this as well.
So the victims law was pertinent to me, in that if we could replicate this in Uganda, it would be one way of encouraging people who have not yet even come up to open up about these issues. They can come up because the law is there to protect them.
A fourth mechanism participants learned about was strategic litigation. They met with Maria Sanchez from Fundar and Rubén Valdés from the National Institute of Respiratory Diseases Patients Committee, who talked about a strategic litigation case on the right to health. Budget analysis was key for putting this case together, as it allowed to identify that budget for patients with HIV had been allocated but not executed, undermining these patients' right to health.
Entonces, el litigio estratégico es una herramienta más dentro de este abanico de posibilidades que lo que busca es incidir directamente en el cambio de políticas públicas, pero a través del Poder Judicial. El Instituto Nacional de Enfermedades Respiratorias es el instituto o el hospital que más atiende pacientes que viven con VIH, ubicando que hay violaciones graves al derecho a la salud de los pacientes por falta de infraestructura. Fue que promovimos dos acciones. Una fue una queja ante la Comisión Nacional de Derechos Humanos, que fue firmada por varios de los pacientes del Instituto Nacional de Enfermedades Respiratorias, y por otro lado promovimos un amparo indirecto que habla sobre violaciones al derecho a la vida, violaciones al derecho a la salud y a las garantías procesales principales de las que gozamos todos los ciudadanos.
When I go back to my country, it's like I can go, or at least I can research what's going on in the budgeting things. Is there any organizations working on it or not?
The patient's major claim in this lawsuit is that the state is not using the maximum of its available resources to ensure these patients' right to health, and moreover, that the state is not justifying law. And this obviously constitutes a violation to the right to health of these patients.
Learning about different mechanisms for the protection, promotion, and fulfillment of human rights implemented in Mexico was an enriching experience for all study tour participants. Hopefully, what was learned and exchanged will contribute to enhance the various human rights interventions participants are undertaking in their countries. Finally, we hope that the long-lasting friendships and linkages created during the tour will remain over time and will promote a greater South-South dialogue on human rights issues.
It's been most rich, is what I can say to describe it, because just to learn your perspectives and your ideas, the progress you've made on human rights, how civil society is mobilized, and then sharing it and having people from other parts of the world engaging on it and hearing different perspectives. It's been most enriching and rewarding, and got lots of ideas to go back and incorporate. So thank you. It's been most amazing.